already finished the first quarter of the year? How many of you have achieved all the goals that you set out to achieve? How many of you are on track for everything that you wanted to do? How many of you are not on track for everything you wanted to do? Cool. So, okay, good. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about the D factor. But before I get into that, any questions, any comments? Yes, Makrit, happy birthday to you. Well done. So what's it like to turn 21 at last? So happy birthday. Hope you had an amazing, amazing day. So, thank you for getting on this webinar and spending it with us for your birthday. Wow, what an honor. What an honor. So, so thank you. Hope we can truly add value to you today. Okay, good. So any questions? Any questions that I can kick off? Any questions from the last couple of webinars around strategy? Anything I can assist with before we get started? Just type in your questions or put your hand up and Marlon will open you up and you can speak. Why don't we start off with that? Let's just have a little bit of a, I don't know, what do they call it on 702? A little bit of an open line. But yeah, open line, open questions. How can I help you when it comes to sales, entrepreneurship, money? How can I help you? Type them in. Give you a second or two to do that. Come on, you must have some questions. Come on, Debs, you always have a question. There we go. Okay, just to say the information from the last webinar was very helpful. Okay, cool. So that was around developing a one-page strategic plan. So how many of you realize that we're moving in a very, very fast world where things are changing all the time, where what you thought was what you thought you knew last week could be very, very different today, very, very different tomorrow. So it's getting harder and harder to create this very structured existence. And for some of you, that's very difficult. So, you know, one of the things around a one-page strategic plan, it gives you structure. But on the other side, are you flexible enough to be able to move when you need to be able to move? So it's a question I believe you always got to be asking yourself. So any other questions? While you are typing in your questions or thinking about what you're going to ask, anyone on this call for the first time? Gibizisiwe, I think that's how you say it. Siklali. Is that, would that be right? Yeah, I think this might be your first call. I think. I don't recognize that name anymore. If it is, first time you've been on the webinar, just put up your hand or just type yes. Michael, I didn't get your two questions. So do you want to type them in and I'll know what they are and then we can work through them. Gibisiziwe, welcome. Welcome for the first time. Give her a big hand. Well done. Good to have you on the call. So I hope you get lots of value tonight. Let's see what Michael's got up his sleeve in terms of questions. Michael, are you coming to the Sales and Leadership Mastery Program next weekend? Okay, so now we've got Michael's question, so let's get going. So tonight I am going to talk to you about something I learned when I was in Phoenix, Arizona last week. I spent 10 days in Phoenix, Arizona with my friend and mentor Blair Singer, and I had the great opportunity of being his assistant trainer and teaching a program called UPDP. And UPDP is what we call the Ultimate Personal Development Program. It's a 5-day program, and in that 5-day program, It's not a big program, 25 to 30 people. In that program, you get put into teams of 5 or 6, and for 5 days, you operate as a team. You build a business as a team, you sell as a team, you generate income as a team, you report as a team, and we have a couple of games that we play over the process of that. It's a fascinating program. And one of the things that we do at that program, we focus on the core areas of life. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. He says, look, that he believes that there's 3 key areas in life that people really want to achieve: health, wealth, and happiness. How many of you would agree around that? That if you are achieving in those areas, in health, wealth, and happiness, your life is moving in the right direction. Yeah, how many of you would agree with that statement? So in UPDP, one of the areas that we focus on is health. And during the 5-day programs, your meals get prepared for you. We eat in a specific way. We eat in a healthy way. And every single day we train and exercise. And so train, exercise, and eat healthy. Now, for some of the contestants, or I say contestants because that's what it becomes. It becomes a contest. We create context like real life business. And for some of the delegates, they during the course of the 5 days that they were in the program, they dropped 2 or 3 kgs, and you watch their whole energy change. So why do I tell you that? Because the person that we work with is a guy called Mac Newton. So some of you have heard me talk about Mac Newton before. Mac is an incredible man. He's an American. He's lived an amazing life. He's 74 years old. I think he's 73 or 74 years old. So I will pop up let me see. I'll pop up a picture of Mac. So this is the picture on the left-hand side is Mac Newton and Blair Singer. Those of you that have never met Blair, or you've heard me talk of Blair. So Blair is Robert Kiyosaki's longest-standing, oldest rich dad advisor, specializes in the area of sales team and communication and building championship teams. And he's a master trainer of trainers, and he's my mentor, my business partner, and the guy that I've spent the last decade plus working with. And the guy standing next to him is Mac Newton. Now, Mac is 74. How many of you can see that Mac doesn't really look 74? So just a little bit of background on Mac. Mac is the highest graded Taekwondo. I don't know what do you call him? The highest grade of Taekwondo masters in North America. He's eighth degree black belt. He's a master instructor. He has won the World Taekwondo Championship twice. He's trained in martial arts for 52 years. You guys are reading what I'm reading here. In 1981 to 84, he was the head coach of the U.S. Taekwondo team. He was also the conditioning coach for the Oakland A's Major League Baseball team, and took them to 2 World Series, winning the World Series, and got himself 2 World Series rings. And he was also the conditioning coach for the Dallas Cowboys and took them to the Super Bowl. And he's one of 2 men in American sporting history that has both rings for baseball World Series and football, and winning the Super Bowl. Unique guy. When he was 18, he was in Vietnam, and he was blown up in a mortar or in a landmine, and he was told he would never walk again. Within 3 years, he was walking. I think within 6 years, he was competing and won the World Taekwondo Championship. An amazing man. He's worked with, if you can name a famous football player or baseball player in the US, Mac has probably conditioned them, rehabilitated them, helped them grow. One of his amazing feats was in 1987, he had his left hip replaced, and he used his own rehab methods to regain full usage of his legs and return to full-time teaching and competing in Taekwondo. I mean, you know, those of you that know people that have had hip replacements, just to function normally back again and start walking is a massive thing. When he had his hip replaced, within 3 months, he was up walking again. Within 2 years, he was fully recovered, doing full competition Taekwondo. An incredible man, to the extent that with what he taught himself to do and how he conditioned himself, there's I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's Zach. I think it's Zach Lakey. He's an American football player, and Mac, he needed a hip replacement, and Mac took him through, did what Mac did, and took him through and got the guy back playing football again within 12 months. So he's an incredible man. In 1995, he was inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and in 2005, he was inducted into the International Taekwondo Hall of Fame. An incredible guy. But how's this? A couple of years ago, when he was 63 or 64, he was doing a kick in his Taekwondo in his Taekwondo studio. You can see it in the background in that picture with him and Blair. And he went up and he kicked the bag, and he dropped down. He had severed his spinal cord, partial severing of his spinal cord. And what they tell me, it was like, how many of you remember Christopher Reeve, Superman? Same accident that Superman had, that Christopher Reeve had, and he was paralyzed from here down, and was told he would never ever walk again. Well, 2 years later, Mac was walking, and today he's fully functional. He's got an incredible mind. So when I was in Phoenix, every single day in this program called UPDP, Mac spends 2 or 3 hours teaching, training, and conditioning the students. It's an incredible time. How many of you have ever had the opportunity to sit in front of somebody, and you know that you're just sitting in front of somebody that just has amazing wisdom, and so, you know, I've spent a number of times over the last number of years, every time I go to Phoenix, I do whatever I can to get into Mac's room. Now, training with Mac is not a cheap affair. I mean, I'll give you an example. I do a training set one day. I do a physical training session with Mac, and that's an hour. That's $100 a pop. But when I walk out of there, the knowledge that I've gained just from listening to such wisdom, and also his workouts are insane in terms of how he pushes you, how he gets you going. And what's amazing is when you watch a guy like Mac operate, he'll operate in a class of 20 or 30 people, and he understands exactly where to push every single individual person, because he understands individual dynamics. He understands team dynamics. He understands how to take people up to their particular thresholds. How many of you realize that each one of us have our own threshold, and with a good teacher, trainer, mentor, they know how to take you to that threshold and push you through so you can go to your higher level. And for all of us, we're all at different levels. So in terms of that really gives you a little bit of context around Mac Newton. And so the program started on the Monday. On the Saturday morning, as I always tend to do when I go to Phoenix, I hook up with Blair, and I go and train with Blair for an hour in Mac's studio with him. And every single program, Mac sits down and teaches. And Mac took us through some amazing words of wisdom that he calls the D factor. So he wrote a book here. He wrote one of his books is called The D Factor, and it says 4 life skills to turn your dreams into reality. Well, when he took us through the lesson that he did before training, he gave us 9 Ds that he said that if you can really implement this into your life and into your business, it'll dramatically change who you are and what you do. So I'm gonna run through those tonight with you. I just, for me, when Marlon asked me what I wanted to speak about and what I wanted to teach, I thought, Well, very few people in South Africa get the opportunity to learn from Mac. By the way, in August, I will be bringing the Ultimate Personal Development Program to South Africa. It's never been in South Africa before, and I'm super excited for it because I'll be teaching the first, we call it UPDP, the first Ultimate Personal Development Program that will ever be taught in the world outside of Blair Singer. So Blair's been teaching it for, I don't know, well over 10 years. That's how I got to know Blair. I went on that program 12 years ago. It's one of the programs I attended when I went to the States and first started working with Blair. And in August, I get to teach the program here, and Mac Newton will be coming into the room. So every single day we'll be learning from Mac for 2 or 3 hours. And we follow Mac's eating program, we follow Mac's health and wellness program, and we get to learn from an absolute legend. Debs, I will confirm those dates later this week. I'll have some confirmed dates around that. I just need to get some confirmations from Mac. So I just thought I would take you through some of the stuff that I learned from an absolute legend and an amazing master, someone who is continuing to strive. I mean, how many of you realize teaching yourself to walk once is an absolute flippin' an unbelievable feat? Teaching yourself to walk 3 times, from the age of 18, being blown up, being told you'd never walk, having a hip replacement, he ended up having both his hips replaced, being able to fight again, and then having a severed spinal cord, and mentally pushing yourself through. And I tell you, the way Blair tells it, he says, so Mac would come into the studio and focus all his energies and attentions on his legs. And over a couple of months, and over a year or so, he started regaining movement and slowly, gradually, day by day, month by month, it started getting better. And he said, Mac tells the story that he went into the hospital and he was sitting waiting for the doctor. And the doctor said to him, well, Mac, how you doing? And, we just got to keep working on this. And you got to keep strong. And he says to Mac, he says, so Mac, where's your wheelchair? How did you get in here? Mac says, I walked. And the doctor could not believe that with the injuries that he had, the man sitting in front of him had walked in. So absolutely amazing man. So the D factor, I'm going to run through all 9, and then I'm going to take each one pretty quickly and break them down for you. And if you have any questions as I go through each one, then just put in the chat box, type in a question, or put up your hand. Marlon will be watching and go from there. So the first one, dream. Second D is decisive. The third D is determination. The fourth D is dedication. The fifth D, discipline. 6, devotion. 7, details. 8, destiny. And 9, distribution. So let's get into them. So 1, dream. All great entrepreneurs can have vision. They can see beyond where today is. They can see into the future. They visualize. They have a clear picture of what they want to achieve. They understand where they're going in the future. Most people are living where? You got it. They're living in the past. They're living in the past. They hope that the future is going to be better, but they're stuck in the past. Great entrepreneurs dream. They dream and they pursue their vision and their future. They have an ability to implement and make dreams come true. Sadly, many people dream, have wonderful dreams, but take no action and can't make their dreams come true. Great entrepreneurs in this area, in this D, the ability to dream, the ability to vision and envision, have the ability to envision and make that vision come to reality. They take the action to make it happen. So when it comes to leadership, when it comes to entrepreneurship, vision is key. Can you see the world from the inside out? Can you sit and look and see what it's going to become? When it comes to deals, can you envision what a deal is going to look like? Those of you that have been around me long enough know that one of my favorite sayings from Robert is, if you can see the deal, you can do the deal. So if you can visualize and you can have a vision around the deal, you can get the deal done. If you can see the dream and you can see how to get to the dream, you can make the dream happen. You don't need to know all the steps to get there. You just have to be able to envision it, see it, make it clear in your mind, and it comes. So dream. Number one, dream. Can you dream? Is your dream written down? Are you clear on your goals? What does it look like? So when we did the one-page strategic plan, that was a key component. What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? What's your vision and your mission? What do you want to achieve in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years? Number two, decisive. Now, you have to make a decision fast. Now, I'll say it again. You've got to make a decision fast. One of the problems that I see with many people, they dilly-dally around and don't make a friggin' decision. Not making a decision is a decision. Okay, I watch too many people have great ideas and then get stuck waiting to find out whether the decision is right or wrong. Well, what happens if I make the wrong decision? What happens if this? What happens if that? Make a flippant decision and act. Okay, great entrepreneurs are decisive. They need to do something to make a decision and they act. The quicker you act, the quicker you get into action, the quicker you can find out whether it is the right or wrong decision. In fact, I hate the word right or wrong decision, whether that decision works or doesn't work. How many of you realize in the same situation, you can make the same decision 2 or 3 years later and you'll get very different results, different environment, different everything. So do not procrastinate. How many of you suffer from procrastination? I know I can put up both hands very often. I know exactly what I need to do, but I get stuck with procrastination. But I know this, that when I am at my absolute best, absolute flow, creating results, I make a decision, get it done, make it happen, and things happen. I'm decisive. Okay, so it's not always the right decision. So what? Make the decision and John Maxwell has an incredible saying. It says, make a decision and make the decision right. Don't wait to make the right decision. Too many people are stuck. So part of being decisive is, can you be swift? How swift can you take action? This world is moving so fast. You have to be fast. You have to be swift. Don't get stuck. Does that make sense? Any comments around this one? Any comments or questions around decisiveness? How many of you are not decisiveness enough? How many of you have been dilly-dallying for way too long? Waiting to get it right, scared. Take action and move. Okay, good. Thanks for the feedback on that. Number 3, determination. Determination. Marlon, confirm with me that you're recording this, bud.
Yes, Barry, it's being recorded, yes.
Oh, great, cool, thank you. Okay, good. So number 3, determination. Okay, they implement with total commitment. They are determined. Great entrepreneurs are determined. They create results. It's going to happen. Come hell or high water. They're going to get it done. Okay, they don't fail. They do fail. They don't quit. They make mistakes. They keep going with an incredible level of determination. How many of you know people like that? How many of you have experienced that in your life? When you're absolutely determined, you make a decision and you push through. You're determined to get it done. In spite of everything else, you're determined. And that level of determination, that level of commitment is what pushes you through. Great entrepreneurs don't hold back. They find a way and they're solution oriented. Too many people are holding back, waiting for somebody else to give them the way, waiting for somebody else to give them the right answers. So work on your level of determination. Ask yourself this: how determined am I? With the goals and the dreams that I set up, if you did that one-page strategic plan, how determined am I to get them done? So I have Robert Kiyosaki coming out at the end of May. It's 6-7 weeks to go. I am absolutely determined that I'm going to honor the commitment that I made to him. I am totally committed, and I will do everything in my power to make it happen. Does that make sense? So what happens with a lot of people is, as things start getting hot, as things start really heating up and culminating in creating the result, they pull back. They pull back because it gets too hot. They start, oh, what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if this doesn't? What happens if that happens? What happens if this happens? And they lose their level of determination and they don't create the results. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? How determined are you? So, number 3, determination. You've got to be determined. Number 4, dedication. Great entrepreneurs are totally dedicated. Highly successful people are totally dedicated. Now, they're dedicated to the mission, they're dedicated to the cause, they're dedicated to their family, to their life, and to their businesses. Okay, in my world, that's really important. Family, life, business. And for me, my spiritual life to God. So dedication, where does that dedication come out? You know, or is it lukewarm? Or some cases cold? We sort of do it, but we don't do it. We're not dedicated. How dedicated are you to doing what you're doing? How dedicated are you to get up tomorrow morning and make it happen? What is your level of dedication? If someone had to watch you, what would they grade you? 1 being very low dedication, 10 being exceptionally dedicated. How dedicated are you to your mission? How dedicated are you to making a change? How dedicated are you to adding value? How dedicated are you to creating value for your family, for the people around you, in your relationships? How dedicated are you to building a better life for yourself and other people? How dedicated are you to growing your business? And dedication comes at a cost. And it comes at a cost for some relationships. It's just what happens. The more dedicated you are, the more you move away from people that don't serve and add value to what you do. It just is what it is. So too many people are trying to hold on to everything. You know, one of the best pieces of advice Blair gave me when I first started working with him is, Barry, if you're really going to get this done, at some stage you're going to have to change some of your friends. It comes at a cost for some relationships. Because the more dedicated you become, sometimes the more you isolate yourself from people that have been around you for a long time. Not because you want to, but because your dedication to your mission and to what you're doing relies on focus. Okay? So great entrepreneurs, when they're on mission, they work tirelessly. They're going to get it done. Do they work tirelessly all the time? No. What they do is they get into periods of time where they're absolutely focused, and when they have to do what they have to do, they get it done, in spite of anything around them. And they have an unwavering dedication to make their dream happen. They talk about it, they talk about their mission, they talk about everything, and they don't let anything get in the way. Over the last 10 years, I know that in a number of areas, I've been dedicated to one particular mission, building entrepreneurs, get stronger and stronger. But what happens is sometimes when I lose focus on the dedication that I have to grow the mission, I get drawn off into other things, and you start losing that focus on that dream, and you gotta be focused and dedicated to make it happen. You want to create wealth, you got to be dedicated to it. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments on this piece? How dedicated are you? Out of 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself right now? Be honest. In terms of dedication, are you dedicated to your cause? Are you dedicated to the cause? Now there's a big difference between wanting to make it happen and being absolutely dedicated. Are you prepared to do what it takes? In my world, legally, ethically, and morally. In your world, you decide what that means. But are you prepared to do whatever it takes? Are you dedicated? When you get up in the morning, what's your level of dedication? You know, I love the analogy of sportsman to business. And you know, my oldest daughter is very talented, and she's got amazing energy. She's an incredible young lady, and she's had a dream to go to the Olympics for a long time. But you want to know the one thing that stops her from achieving that dream, or that will stop her from achieving that dream? It's this little piece here called dedication. Because she doesn't have that level of dedication yet in order to make it happen. You know, that level of dedication, when everyone else is partying at university, you're out training because you are focused on making that dream happen. Now, it's up to her whether she gets that or not. She has the talent, she has the personality, she has everything to make it work. The question is can she be dedicated? You know, I remember watching my cousin. I'm very blessed to have a family that played a lot of sport, and some of my family played at very high levels. I loved sport and played at a fairly high level when I was younger. But one of my cousins, she represented the Springboks 208 times, and she captained the Springboks, I think, for 60 of those times. She also represented Zimbabwe when she was younger at an international level for, I think, 54 times. So she played over 260 international games. She retired when she was 39 years old from international sport. And the one thing that, was she talented? Yeah, she was incredibly talented as a sportswoman. But you know what took her over the top compared to everyone else was her dedication. I can just remember her dedicated to her health, dedicated to her eating, dedicated to her training program. Absolute dedication that allowed her to achieve. How many realize playing international sport? I think she went to her last Olympics. I think she went to 3 Olympic Games, and her last Olympic Games was when she was 38 years old. How many of you know people that are playing international, highly competitive sport at that age? Dedication. So what's your level of dedication? Any comments or questions around that? Most people are just not dedicated enough. It's a good idea to have a great dream. It's something we want, but we don't want it bad enough. How bad do you want it? Okay, good. So by show of hands, if you can, pretty quickly, or just type in yes, are you getting value out of this piece? How many of you are starting to question yourself as I'm going through these Ds? Cool. Thank you, Roy. Michael says, not many people can achieve what my cousin accomplished. Michael, I believe anyone can achieve what my cousin accomplished if we have the level of dedication. Not many people are dedicated to that level. I just believe every single one of us in our own area, it might not be in the sport of hockey or might not go to the Olympics, but for each one of us, do you not get up every single day of your life and think that your business is your Olympic Games? Every single day. I mean, how many of you have imagined this? In order to become the fastest man in the world, in order to win the Olympic gold medal, Usain Bolt trained for 4 years for 10 seconds. 4 years of dedication for 10 seconds of flipping glory. Goodness me. Maybe twice because he ran in the first set of heats. So he gets to the Olympics, trains for 4 years, non-stop. Dedication. Goes from Diamond League to Diamond League. Yes, they all add value to him. But his main aim was to win the world champs and to win the Olympics and to break the world record at the Olympics. Under 10 seconds, 9.38 seconds, or whatever he runs at. How many of you are prepared to be dedicated for 4 years to do one meeting? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine training and practicing and preparing and learning? Because in 4 years' time, you have the opportunity of having one meeting that could make or break your business. Goodness me. When you think about it like that, the problem with dedication is I believe in business we have way too much time because we go out every single day. Every single day is our Olympic Games. Every single day is our 100-meter race. But if you treat it every day as the only race that you have, what would happen? How much more dedication would you get to your dream and to your goal? Number 5, discipline. This is my favorite. This is, if you have a look up here on my board, one of the things on my board, it says, I have a little piece up here that says, it's something that I try and recite on a regular basis. It says unreasonableness, effectiveness, self-discipline. And this particular piece comes out of a biblical scripture, but it says this: for the Spirit God gave me does not make me timid, but gives me power, love, and most importantly, self-discipline. I don't know about you, but the one area that I've had to work really hard on in my life is self-discipline, especially in the area of flipping health. And I am always, one of the reasons I loved working with Mac is because for 10 days I got my butt kicked, I ate well, and really have become more and more self-disciplined. And the higher the level of self-discipline I operate under, the higher the level of results I create. So great entrepreneurs operate in an area of discipline, high level of discipline. They have high levels of self-discipline. They have high levels of team discipline. They discipline themselves and they discipline others. When they're stepping out of line, they pull themselves back into line. They're kind, not nice. Too many of you are being nice to yourself. Well, no, stop, discipline. You know, the one thing with my cousin, she was highly disciplined. Does it make sense? And so So yeah, Michael, discipline is the ability to do something whether we feel like it or not. 100%. You know, I'm on Mac Newton has an eating plan. It's called a 3-2 eating plan. It's very easy to do. It's in my mind, my opinion, his opinion, my opinion. It's very boring. It's you're allowed to eat 3 things. 1, meat. 2, green vegetables. 3, fruit. That's it. No salts, no sugars, no sauces, none of that sort of stuff. And it's green vegetables. So my standard operandi is steak, which I don't mind. You can eat. You know what he says is it's not how much you eat, it's what you eat. What do you put in your body? Are you disciplined to put the right things in your body? Why? Food is fuel. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been following Mac's program every single morning. Get up, have a fruit shake, fruit smoothie. It's 300 mils of freshly squeezed orange juice, half a pear, half an apple, and a banana. Boom, that gets me going. 11 o'clock, a piece of steak, a piece of chicken, a piece of fish, one form of green vegetables, broccoli, you know, asparagus, spinach, you know, all 3. And I do that 3 times a day. And I would rather be having peri-peri chicken and chips, and I'd rather be having all those type of things, but it takes discipline. And the more disciplined I'm becoming in that area of my life, the more disciplined I'm becoming in other areas of my life. And you know, I'm probably sitting at where I am right now in probably definitely for the last 25 years at the highest level of physical health, wellness than I've ever been in my life. And it just comes from discipline. And I mean, you realize it's not rocket science. Being disciplined is not rocket science. It just comes down to some simple principles that if we just keep following them, it's like sales. You know, sales. I had a program today. It was a sales preview, and what I said to people is sales is really simple. The problem is we lack the discipline to do what we need to do every flipping day. Get out, make calls, meet people. Does that make sense? So, D, number 5, discipline. Rate yourself. In all of these, I'm going to encourage you. Sit down, spend some time and rate yourself. 1 being very low, 10 being very high. Be brutally honest with yourself. The more honest you are with yourself, the more you can grow. Okay, so be brutally honest. Rate yourself. How do you rate yourself in the area of discipline? Various areas of discipline. How disciplined are you in health? How disciplined are you in wealth? How disciplined are you in your spiritual area of your life? How disciplined are you when it comes to relationships and families? How disciplined are you? Number 6, devotion. Great entrepreneurs love what they do. Okay, they love what they do. They get out and they do it. They do it with passion. They love it. It excites them. It ignites them. You know, they don't sit watching the clock. Okay, I know that I'm on mission. I'm on purpose when time just flies by when I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I know that when I'm in a room and when I'm running a seminar, you know, someone said to me yesterday, I don't know how you can teach nonstop like that for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Be on your feet from 9 o'clock in the morning until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Deep driving energy, helping people get energy. I don't know how you do that. It's pretty simple because I just love when I'm in that zone. I just love what I do. That time goes by and I get fueled by energy. So do you love what you do? Do you have a level of devotion to it? Are you devoted? That's where the difference between making sense and making money comes in. You know, I don't know about you, but it's for some people you can get a high level of devotion to making money. But my devotion comes from making a change in the world. My devotion comes from being on mission, from helping entrepreneurs grow. And I know this, that the more devoted I am to doing that, if I create a good business model, the money will come. You know, so great entrepreneurs, when it comes to devotion, the love of what they do sustains them when the going gets tough. And believe me, the going gets tough. The bigger the game you want to play, the tougher it gets. The greater the mission you want, the tougher it gets. It's pretty simple. Why? Because the more good you're going to do in the world, the more lives you're going to touch, the more people you're going to change, the more, you know, the more the one side of the universe, the one side is going to come after you. You know, life's in duality. So the bad side of the world, the dark side of the world, whatever you believe in, is going to come and make it tough for you. And can that level of devotion push you through when it starts getting tough? When you start making changes, when you start challenging, people don't like being challenged. So, you know, the love of serving, entrepreneurs have a love of serving, and they have a love of what they do. So the love of serving and combined with the love of what they do creates a high level of effectiveness. So what's your level of devotion sitting at right now? How devoted are you to what you do? How much do you love what you do? What's your mission? What's your vision? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Number 7, details. Okay, they don't get lost in all the details. They focus and are on top of the critical details. Okay, the critical details, the most important things. They don't get lost in all the minutiae of this and that and this. Too many people get lost in too much stuff. Keep it simple. What are the key numbers? Understand your key numbers, 3, 4, 5 of them. That's it. In the one-page strategic plan, Vernon talks about that. What are your critical numbers? What are your critical details? And when you focus on driving that, everything else comes. So great entrepreneurs know the core numbers. They know the critical details, and they focus on those critical details. So what's your level of details? Do you get too stuck in the details, or do you hide away from the details? It's about getting in between, understanding what the critical details are, and getting to know your critical numbers and driving those critical numbers. So number 7 is details. Great entrepreneurs understand the critical details. They don't get lost in all the detail. Number 8, destiny. Great entrepreneurs are in charge of their destiny. How many of you are excited to know that if you put these D's together, you will be in charge of your destiny? Okay, that's the only thing that I'm in charge of, is what I'm going to do tomorrow, what I'm going to do tonight, what I am going to do. Okay, not anybody else. I can't even be in control of my own household. I don't know. I can have an idea of what my wife Nicole's going to do tomorrow, but she'll do whatever she's going to do. The only thing that I can be in charge of is me, the actions that I'm going to take, the phone calls that I'm going to take, the way I speak to people, how I react. It's me. And when you take that with the plan, and when you take that with taking action, when you take that with levels of discipline, I know that I am in charge of my destiny and achieving my mission and my plan. And if I put all these things together, I know this in my own mind. My mind is not big enough to see what I can create. I just understand that. Because when you in full flow, how many of you realize that suddenly things happen and you go, wow, I didn't even realize that. I never even thought that was part of the game. I never even thought that I would work with this person, or that I would go to this country, that I'd do this. And so what happens is when you operate from the D's that I've spoken from about at the moment, you start taking charge of your destiny. Where do you want to go? You stop allowing other people to take charge of your destiny. You stop getting worried about ESCOM and whether it is in control of your destiny, or the government, or whether it's in control of your destiny. Because how many of you realize there's absolutely nothing that you can do about that? Yes, you can go out and vote, and you can cast your piece, and so you should. But in the bigger scheme of things, there's nothing you can do about that. Anyone going to reconstitute the board of ESCOM? No, you'd like to, but you can't. It's not going to happen. But what can you be in charge of? Tomorrow you can be in charge of how disciplined you are around your life, how disciplined you are around what you eat, what you do, how you act, what you say, how much love you put into it, how much devotion you have to it. You're in charge of your dream. You know, too many people are focused way too much on all the other stuff that's going on, and they're not taking charge of their own destiny. Great entrepreneurs take charge and are in charge of their destiny. Does that make sense? I don't know about you, but that flipping heck, that excites the heck out of me. That really, really excites the heck out of me. And I just know this. I am at cause. I'm at cause over my life. I'm not at effect. Most people are stuck at effect by the economy, effect by other people, effect. Be at cause. Take charge of your own destiny. That's number 8, destiny. And number 9, and for me, this was really, really a powerful one, distribution. Now, importantly, distribution, not distribution as in distribution of products, but distribution of ownership and responsibility. Great entrepreneurs understand that you have to build a team, and in order to build a team, you have to be able to distribute and share power. Okay, that's the thing that people struggle with. It's my business, so I'm going to have the power and I'm going to control it, because if I control it, then I'll get everything to be done. Okay, great leaders, great entrepreneurs who go way beyond themselves understand this, that they have to distribute ownership and responsibility. And they distribute that ownership and responsibility to key team members to make it work. They're prepared to distribute power. What is your preparedness to distribute power? What is your preparedness to distribute ownership and responsibility? What is your preparedness to grow other people? What is your preparedness to grow other people so that they might even become bigger than you? Great entrepreneurs understand this distribution of power, this distribution of ownership, this distribution of responsibility. My opinion is that many people just pay lip service to the stuff. But when it really comes down to the crux, they want to control it. They want to hold on to ownership, hold on to responsibility, hold on to power. How do you distribute it? How do you distribute it to key members? And when you distribute it, you make it work because you give them ownership and your responsibility. You increase their level of power. You give them power to be able to do stuff. I've just learned this, that when I distribute ownership and responsibility and when I allow people to operate in a different level of power, they will stay around me. When I try and hold on to it, they'll move on over a period of time. So, the 9 Ds that make up the Mac Newton D factor. You got to have a dream. You have to be decisive. You got to act now. Swiftness. You got to be determined. You got to have a high level of dedication and a high level of discipline. Are you dedicated and are you disciplined to the disciplines that are required in order to fuel your dream, in order to fuel your actions? How devoted are you? Do you love what you do? Are you in charge of your destiny? Do you get lost in the details, or can you focus on the critical details? And what is your preparedness to distribute ownership, to distribute wealth, to distribute power to other people, so that they can grow, and you can create a group of people around you. So, folks, those are the 9 Ds that I learned from Mac Newton. And I don't know about you, but when I went through them, they added an incredible level of value to me. So any comments or questions around these 9 Ds before we wrap it up? You can either ask for your mic to be opened, or you can just type it in. If you've got value, type in value. Any questions or comments before we finish off? Thank you, Roy. Anyone else? Yeah, Roy, I think you said something really important. These are just words on a screen unless you actually take them and you apply them. You've got to put them into application. Ray says definitely need to work on discipline and devotion. How many of you could connect to that? Yeah, discipline and devotion. Michael, thanks for serving. Hors d'oeuvre, mains, and dessert. No words to describe tonight's training. Thank you, Michael. And Helena says, how do you know you're on the right path or the right dream? Well, that's a great question, Helena, because it's just my opinion. Whose opinion? My opinion is this, that it stirs in your spirit. Dreams and missions and visions come from your spirit. They come from your spirit, not from here. They're not a logical thing. I was in the event that I did today. I was talking to a lady that's been around my programs for a while, and she's done a number of programs. She's done the Sales and Leadership Mastery program. She's done our Awaken Your Financial Genius program, and we were talking about her coming to the Get Real program with Robert Kiyosaki, and she was saying, well, I don't know about this, I don't know about this, and then she told me about something that she's doing in her business, and tears welled up in her eyes, and I said to her, what's that? She said, well, that's why I want to do what I want to do. I went, well, that's the deal. You see, because she couldn't stop it, is when she started talking about it, it had such a powerful emotion. It was like, flipping heck, that's what it is, you know. And you find it over a period of time. You start creating it, start writing it down, start working through the process, start uncovering what is it that you want to do. You know, we run a really powerful goal setting program. Funny enough, a goal setting program that was developed by Mac Newton and Blair Singer. and it's a sort of 3/4 of a day program. And the one thing that we teach in that goal setting program is what we call your most definite purpose. It's called your MDP. And when you can uncover what your most definite purpose is, and you can link everything into that, things just really start happening. So, Helena, you might be interested. One of my team, one of our trainers, is conducting a goal setting program on this Saturday. Marlon, can I ask? Can you? It's not an expensive program. It's a 1-day program. It's 995 rand. But what it will do through that program, it'll allow you to get a lot of clarity around what's your most definite purpose. Why right now should you be doing what you should be doing? What is your definite purpose? So if that would add value to you, I would suggest, hook up. It's she's running it in I think she's running it in Centurion. Thank you, Marlon. There's the program there. This is the link. Just go on, do yourself a favor, go spend Saturday morning with Dillian. She's an incredible trainer. She's got an amazing energy. She teaches in the way that we teach, and she will. Okay, Marlon will change the link, and what I suggest is go along and for any of you that want to do that, it'll be an incredible investment that'll really serve you well in understanding that. So does that make sense? Any other questions or comments? Okay, good. So just I'm gonna say it again. I've talked about it on pretty much most calls that I do. A couple of things. One is to next weekend, Friday and Saturday, or the end of next week, Friday and Saturday, I'm conducting the first Sales and Leadership Mastery Program of the year. Those of you that have done the Sales and Leadership Mastery Program, you know that we have a redo rate that you can come back and do the program. Those of you that haven't done the Sales and Leadership Mastery Program, I'm really going to encourage you that if you got value out of being on these calls, if you get value out of working with me and how I teach and what I teach, that the 2-day program, which is an intensive program, it's 2 days, starts on Friday morning and goes through to pretty late on Friday evening, and then runs all day Saturday until sort of 7 p.m. on Friday evening. What I do guarantee you, it's called the Sales and Leadership Mastery because it'll dramatically shift where you are when it comes to leading yourself, when it comes to leading people, when it comes to selling, when it comes to creating income. And the cost of the program is 14,995 rand. We have an offer on this for you guys at 9,995 rand. If you're interested in finding more about the program, just type in more sales into the chat box, and one of either myself or one of my team members will get a hold of you and chat you through the program. Some of you on this call have done it, and I know that the results that you got coming out of that program were life changing. It's the first program I ever did with Blair Singer, and that's the reason for 12 years why I've been pursuing and learning what he does, and that's the only reason that I teach with Robert Kiyosaki today, is because that was the start of my journey that dramatically shifted me. So if you're interested in doing that, Marlon will send out the details, but just if you can, type in sales more sales, and we'll be in touch around that. And then, as I said, in May, I have Robert Kiyosaki coming out. This is a very, very unique opportunity. It's for 100 people. It's a very small room. It's 6 days of learning with Robert Kiyosaki, and the entire cost of the program for you to do the Awaken Your Financial Genius pre-program and the 6-day program with Robert Kiyosaki, and then a series of 1-day programs with me after that is 60,000 rand. I know that for some of you it sounds like an incredible amount of money to invest in you, but I've spent the last 24 months with learning from Robert, and what I can tell you, it is incredible value, unbelievable value. And if you want to take your business and your life to a different level, then I'd encourage you, get a hold of us, chat to us about how we can make it work for you. we'll create a structure so that it can work for you. And come and join us in May for the Get Real program. So there are the details there. To apply for Get Real and to get more information, just send an email to richard@uncoveringgreatness.co.za. So folks, that's it from me. Thank you very much for another entrepreneurial hangout evening. I really, really hope you got value tonight. Looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one, which will be next week. And please, what I ask out of this is that obviously these are free. What I do ask is that if you do get value, please do us a favor. Please forward them on to other people. When you see us advertising this, please share it. Please promote it. Please send it to other people. If you get value and you know that other people can get value, I run it twice a month. It's 2 hours, and really, we'd just love it if you can help us grow that part of the community where we can add value to entrepreneurs, to people wanting to grow their businesses. So thank you very much. Marlon, back to you, bud.
Thanks very much, Barry. I'm definitely gonna work a lot more on my discipline. I think that definitely was what I pulled out of today. Thank you, everyone. You're going to get a link with this. It's going to be on the site probably tomorrow, and along with all the links that Barry has spoken about for you to perhaps take action and take further your learning. So thank you very much. We will be back next week. If you want to get access to past webinars as well, you just go to the website, go to resources and webinars, and there's also articles and loads of other stuff that you can get a hold of. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, Barry. Thank you.